Welcome into the Ball Report brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. He is Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker, and a lot to get to as Tennessee has promoted from within. What does that mean for the direction of the program? I think it's pretty darn good. How are you, Jacob?
Doing great. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
The Vol Report brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive in Cleveland, Tennessee. Industrial, commercial, and residential lawn equipment. If you're restocking your fleet or you're starting a landscaping company, it's worth the drive to Cleveland from Nashville, Knoxville, or Chattanooga. So hit them up, Bassey Lawn and Garden. Go to Bassey.com. Alec Abeln, elevated to tight ends coach. That affects you because you play
hmm
tight end.
I do.
I saw some positive reviews from you and Cooper Mays on Twitter. Why is he the perfect fit for the job right now?
Yeah, obviously. Cooper working pretty closely with him just because he was obviously an offensive line assistant previous to the past few months as he's been working with us. But yeah, ever since really Abe's has been on staff here, has really gotten along with all the tight ends and has never been a stranger, right? We've all known him for the whole time, and so it was pretty natural whenever Golish moves on and takes that position at USF that he kind of takes over and is our interim tight ends coach, if you will. And just kind of takes it over, man, and really commits to learning more about our position and brings a lot of things with him, right? Obviously, from just his knowledge of the game and of our offense and run blocking, pass blocking, and just gave us a much different perspective as to how to play the game and really helped us a lot pretty early on in bowl prep, which is great to see. And then obviously, just knowing him and understanding that he's going to work hard to perfect every aspect of his coaching and there there's give and take, right? Like he's completely aware that he's not perfect, and we're all completely aware that we're not perfect. So I'm happy to have someone that I know and that I trust in that position to kind of just continue to grow through this next season.
So did it kind of feel like an audition at all during bowl practice as you're getting to know him?
In a way, yeah, I think that and it's always in the back of our heads of like, oh wow, like hmm, they could just hire him, right? Like like that's it. Kind of seemed that way, like it was getting to the point where he was trying to earn a job, right? He was really going out there and trying his best and learning and competing the same way we were, right? And competing for that spot. And obviously, it worked out for him, and we're all super happy.
Yeah, if you can talk about his coaching style a little bit, Jacob. He's a younger guy.
Yeah, he is. Um, yeah, I would say he is a younger guy, but I think a lot of people associate the youth with not loud, but big, big energy, real excited, um, running around, whatever it is. But he can get that way, but I think he's more of, similar to me, more of just, I guess, an intellectual whenever we're playing the game, whenever we're out there. He's sitting there analyzing every little detail of different things and can effectively communicate, when you do something wrong or when you do something right. Um, is very good about presenting information to you that is easy to accept. You know what I mean? As a man with an ego and pride, he's never going to come after you and be you know demeaning or aggressive, but he's also going to tell you how it is, right? And be straight up and be honest and be truthful. And we've all pretty quickly learned to respect that about him, how the way he approaches coaching and correcting and encouraging, at least so far. So
Kind of a thinking man's coach, if that's a good way to put it. When I look at this offensive staff, I kind of think of the whole group as that. Would that be apt, including Josh Heupel as well?
yeah, that's very accurate. I think that that's how pretty much all of them are. You're not going to see any of them. I mean, you might, right? You might see some of them on the sidelines, every once in a while getting rowdy, but it truthfully is like, man, everybody's there to work, but everybody's there to get better. And I feel like this staff, kind of has a chip on its shoulder and always has something to prove. And that's kind of what I can tell motivates them to keep going. And Yeah, I mean, from the top down, man, even Coach Hype, it just seems like he's always so humble and so calm and, you know, I don't know, excited when we're doing well and obviously frustrated when we're doing bad, but, always there for us and always there to support and try to make it right.
The odd part about it is that you guys and your offense is such a frantic pace,
Mhm.
but the coaches are cool, calm, and collected. There's some irony there.
Yeah, it is, and I think, this is, I don't know, I guess a misconception, right? We're not out there, like, just running around with our heads cut off, you know what I mean? Like, I know you weren't saying that, but man, like, it's funny how people are, explain it that way. They describe it that way as frantic as, just pieces moving everywhere, but it's so methodical and it's so much routine for us, right, to play the game that way at this point, and imagine being out there and trying to, think about the things I'm supposed to be doing very quickly and lining up quickly. And all my coaches are on the sideline screaming and yelling and jumping up and down. And you know what I mean? That would be extremely distracting. And so even also like as you come off the field, right? You just got done with the, maybe 2.5 minutes of the most intense, like mind spinning, your body's going, you're tired. You know what I mean? You're just all that stimulation, all of that anxiety, all that stress, all of that whatever, and you come off the field, like the last thing I want is for someone to sit there and be aggressive and loud and you know what I mean? Sometimes it has to happen, right? And that's coaching, right? But at the same time, I really appreciate being able to come over to the sidelines and just have a calm presence be there to tell me exactly what I did wrong, encourage me on the things I did right, and then kind of, encourage me to keep going and keep pushing, man, keep doing it because obviously at the end of the day they can't be out there as much as they would want to be. But
Well, yeah, and you guys are close to being peers. You're almost as old as Alec Abeln.
hey, you ain't lying. I've been here a while.
I think he's going to be what 27 in March. I believe somebody told me.
Yeah, I'm not sure of his exact age, but he is young, and I think that that's awesome that he's gotten the ability, and that kind of just shows you, how he works and how smart and how I mean how advanced he is in the game, at such a young age.
Who is the guy who provides the fire when you need it? I want to ask that question. Brought to you by Bassy Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. The industrial, commercial, and residential mowers are all right there in Cleveland, close to Knoxville, Nashville, and Chattanooga. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Bassy Lawn and Garden, Bassy.com. So, as far as pregame speeches or anything like that, I think that's oftentimes oversaid, overdone. But did you get the pregame fiery speech from many coaches, or is that a bit outdated?
No, I mean I think that you still get that right, and I think a lot of it comes from the players too. I think that the players have been in charge of the energy, or like if you heard the word juice, right? Like we're trying to be, lively, be excited, but at the same time, it's like, we're entering the game with a mission, right? With a job, and the only way that we're going to, accomplish that and be as good as we can is if we're in that range, right? That range between we're not too low, we're not too excited to where we can't, I mean, functionally, operate well and think on the right page and stuff like that. So, we do a good job maintaining that and understanding where we need to be mentally. It's different for everybody, right? There's some people that like to sit in there and you know not hit things, but just be aggressive, like walk around and listen to music and like jump around and do whatever. And there's some people that just sit there quietly in their locker and listen to their own music and close their eyes and rest before the game, whatever it may be. But yeah, of course, every time before we walk out there, Coach Hype is always going to bring it up and make sure we know, like, hey guys, it's time to go. Like, this is what we work for. It's the same thing every week. So let's just go out there and let's just do it. And then everybody gets all rowdy, and then we run out, and obviously then you feed off the crowd, and the game happens from there. And then it's just kind of natural flow of mixing aggression with um, I don't even know. I
Yeah.
think you know what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say.
No, I think it's mixing aggression with a well orchestrated plan, is
For
how I
sure.
would put it, because you guys are certainly aggressive, but it's not like you said earlier, run around chicken with your heads cut off sort of
Right.
thing. But who are some of the best at providing the juice, as you said? I mean, I would imagine Josh Heupel before a game, but are there other coaches or even players that are able to provide that when needed?
Yeah, I mean, you got players that are very good at it, right? Hendon was always really good about being comfortable stepping up in front of everybody and just yelling like whether it's let's go, like come on, like whatever, it's time to go, like whatever. And he's always very good with his words about trying to encourage his guys and get everybody hyped up. And yeah, hype is obviously good at it too, and does it a lot. Coach Eckler, I think everyone has seen on social media and just at the games, whatever, is always, man, he's always doing something crazy. So he always is fun to watch and listen to whenever it's time for somebody to get excited.
Yeah, he's very good on social media. I'll certainly give him
Hmm.
that as well. When I look at what Josh Heupel has done and elevating coaches to bigger positions after you lose Alex Scolish to South Florida, I think it's a clear sign that he is committed to his type of offense moving forward. What does that mean, you think, to you and maybe the future of the program for those that are wondering? Some might wonder, was that just a 1-year wonder sort of thing? Was that a flash in the pan? But obviously, Josh Heupel doesn't think so.
Yeah, I think that we do a very specific thing here with our offense, and there's other teams around the country that do it, similar to us or just a little bit different or whatever. Um, And at least to me, like as a player, it makes sense for them to hire the people that know the offense the best, right? Because regardless of whether Abe's has ever coached a tight end before or, whether he knows everything about running routes or knows nothing about running routes, at the end of the day, he knows everything about our offense. And as long as, we can get the tools around him and around us so that we're all well rounded and we can develop and we can train and we can, you know, become masters of the offense, everything else will kind of just work itself out. Because at the end of the day, like yeah, we're individuals, but we're also just pieces of this puzzle, pieces of the game, right? That we're trying to just make sure that we're in the right spot. And if we can all be on the right page and make that happen, then we're good. And so I think hiring the people that know it the best makes the most sense to me, and also people that we trust and that we care about and that care about us. I think that he has shown great emphasis in that he wouldn't put us in a bad position by, potentially hiring someone that, we may not get along with or may not be super cohesive in our group or, you know, whatever it may not align with the morals and with the values of the team of the people in the room. And like obviously Hype will never do that because he doesn't want to work with someone like that. But yeah, I think that he's been very considerate and very um has thought a lot about us, right? As well as the offense, as well as the future of the program when making, obviously this hire, but previous hires in the past as well.
I think there's also, isn't there? I guess at some point you could be loyal to a fault, but I think there's also a loyalty factor that pays dividends when he's willing to give a coach that's in an analyst or grad assistant role a
Yeah,
shot at the big time. I think, doesn't that permeate through the team? You think?
for sure. Yeah, I think that you know the loyalty shows in saying, yeah, I'm going to give him the first opportunity at it, right? I'm going to give him the best crack at it because he is the one that's poured into my program. Like obviously, Josh, Coach Hype obviously like believes that everyone essentially believes that he couldn't do it without all the people that have been in the program. And so yeah, it's a loyalty thing for him to give someone like Abe's or um, Coach Pope whenever he got promoted to the wide receivers job. It just makes the most sense for them you know to at least get a chance to be hired. And if they're the best candidate, then obviously they get it. So
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it. So, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being incredibly surprised, 1 being not
mhm.
surprised at all. How surprised are you that Darnell Wright is one of the fastest rising players on a draft board?
You said one was not surprised at all, or 10 was not surprised at all.
1 is not surprised. You can go negative numbers if you want.
Yeah, let's go negative whatever. Yeah, one. I'll call it one. He's just very much, man, he was somebody that like you just watched do super cool things on the football field. And maybe not cool to some people, right? I'm sure wide receivers don't really care about what he does and the quarterbacks appreciate it obviously, but like people who really understand pass protection and understand run blocking, understand the game that is line and blocking and stuff. Um, man, you watch him and just watch how athletic he is, and I think I've talked about this before. You watch how athletic he is and how quick he is, how good he is with his hands, and how calm he looks whenever he plays the game. And man, he does it against the best, and he did it against the best all year this year. And obviously goes to the Senior Bowl, and all you hear is great things about how he's protecting the quarterback and how his run blocking looks good and how he's answering all the questions the right way and is really rising up the boards. And yeah, it's not a surprise at all, and that's something that I'm very happy about because not that he was a sleeper or whatever. Like people I think recognized him as one of the top guys, but now that he's kind of he has done what he needed to do to get all the recognition that he deserves. So
Do you remember a time last year during a game where his play just really stood out to you? Maybe as he mauled the defensive end, or it could have been pass protection, whatever. That you're like, man, that's not your ordinary Joe in college football.
I wouldn't say like a time in a game or anything, but there was one time in practice when I'm not going to name any names, but there was a defensive player. It was a one-on-one situation. There was a defensive player um, that he wasn't going against. Right, he was behind the defensive lineman that he was going to go against, and the defensive player is just talking, mouthing off to him, saying whatever, like just talking crap, right? And so the defensive end that's lined up to go against him is getting ready to pass rush, whatever, and Darnell, you can see on film just by the way that where his head's pointed because we have little stripes on our helmet. You can see where it's pointed. Darnell stares. The man behind the guy that he's blocking looks at him the whole entire rep. Pass sets him, blocks the guy that's rushing while staring at the man that's standing behind. I promise this is how it works. He was looking at behind the guy rushing the whole time and locks him up, grabs him like a perfect pass per rep. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know if maybe he was like, periffing it a little bit, and, like just wasn't actually looking at the person behind him. But like, I thought that was just absolutely crazy. We sat in our meeting for like 5 minutes and just kept watching it. Like, how does he even do that? Like, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
It's kind of like those cartoons where one guy holds another guy's head and he's taking swings at him.
Yep. Sure, you call it exactly like that because that's how it seems like it is a lot of times with him. So, which is good for an offensive line.
Yeah, I think the other interesting part about Darnell, and you mentioned it, is his calmness too, and that
Mm,
was, I think, something that came across in interviews with the NFL.
yeah.
Yeah, if you can kind of describe his style of play with that calm, but yet being able to dominate players.
Yeah, I think that that's obviously what you look for. You look for someone that can maintain a level head and is um, a very mature competitor. I think that's a word we use a lot is just being mature when you compete, right? Understanding that there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, there's going to be times when you get beat, there's going to be times when you just absolutely dominate somebody, and it's about lining up again and about doing it again. And I think what I mean when I mean calm is just watching him even in the middle of a play. He never looks out of control. He never looks, you know, scared or flustered or maybe he never looks panicked whenever it seems like a block's not going to go his way. He just continues to fight and will finish and use his big body and um, make it work the best he can. Obviously, he makes mistakes, but um, just I don't know, the lack of panic and the lack of stress, and it's just the calmness is really the right way to say it. Just the calmness he plays with is pretty impressive.
He feels like one of those lock guys to me that's just going to be, at the very least, an 8, 10 year NFL player that's going to be very successful and maybe even a higher ceiling than that. He just, from talking to you and Cooper, it just kind of has that feel and watching him play. Great stuff as always from Jacob Warren. You can definitely follow us on our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well for more from Jacob and others. The Ball Report brought to you by Bassy Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive right there in Cleveland. Thank you, Jacob. I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off Thug Sports.